This is a review for the test about proportional and non-proportional relationships and the slope-intercept equation. The first two problems is about telling if the relationships are proportional or non-proportional, and also what the sign of the slope is. In this one, the line passes through the origin, so it's going to be proportional. Now, how do I know if it is positive, negative, non-existent, on zero? Okay, this is a quadrant 1, quadrant number 2, quadrant number 3, and quadrant number 4. If it passes through quadrant 2 and 4, then it's negative. The slope is negative. So in the first case, it's going to be proportional and negative is slope. Negative is slope. The second one doesn't pass through the origin, so it's non-proportional, and since passes through the quadrant 1 and 3, then this slope is positive. So this is non-proportional and positive slope. For the third problem, we need to write an equation of a line in a slope-intercept form with the given slope and y-intercept. So the slope is given is 3.5, so my m is 3.5, and the y-intercept is -4, so my b is -4. So I'm going to write the general equation y equals mx plus b, and just replace m and b by these values. Y equals 3/2 of x minus 4, and this is my final equation with this slope and this y-intercept. The table shows how many points are awarded for answering consecutive questions on a game show. Find the constant of proportionality and written an equation on the slope-intercept form for the data in the table below. So these are the questions answered. For one, you have 200 points awarded, for two, 400, and so on. So this is going to be my x, and this is going to be my y. In order to find the constant of proportionality, that is assuming that this relationship is constant, I have to, that it is y over x. If you do y over x for each of these ordered pairs, you're going to find that is 200 over 1, the same as 400 over 2, the same as 300 over 3, and so on, so on, so on, equals 200. So my constant of proportionality is going to be 200. The equation of my line, since it passes through the origins, because it's proportional, it's going to be y equals kx. Then I just replace the 200, that is my constant, in here. So y equals 200x, and this is going to be my final answer. This is the equation given by this proportional relationship. Problem number 5 is write an equation in the slope-intercept form for the following line in the graph. So we have the line in the graph, we don't have the slope-intercept form that we know that is y equals mx plus b. So we need to find b and m. B is the y-intercept, so we go on the y-axis and I start in 0 and count 1, 2, this is my y-intercept. So my b is going to be equals 2. My m, that is my slope, I'm going to find it through the equation rise over run. So I choose 2 points, this one and this one, for example, and go from this one to this one, going rising 2 units and running 1 unit. So my rise is going to be positive 2, my run is going to be positive 1, so my m is going to be equals 2. My equation then is going to be y equals, I'm just going to replace m and b in this general equation, and it's going to be 2x plus 2. This is my final answer or equation for this line. And the last one, number 6, graph the equation y equals negative 2x minus 1. I have the equation in the general form y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept and m is the slope. So let's see in this equation, what is the coefficient of x is the slope. So in this equation, the coefficient of x is going to be negative 2. So my m is going to be negative 2. Let's go to b. B is the constant. The constant in this case is going to be negative 1. So my b is going to be negative 1. So let's start graphing. For b equals negative 1, I go to the y-axis and go down 1. This is negative 1. This is one of the points of the line. The second one I'm going to find using rise over run in my slope equation. So I'm going to write I know the m is -2, so I can rewrite this one as -2/1 as a fraction, -2/1. That is the same thing as writing -2, but in this case, since it's a fraction, I have the top equals the rise and the bottom equals the run. So starting at this point, I'm going to rise -2, meaning instead of going up, I go down, how many? 2. Very good, this is -2. I'm going to run 1 to the right, and this is going to be my second point. I'm going to draw it in red and this one in red. So when I do my line, I'm going to connect these 2 points. You're going to have this line that is the line represented by this equation.